two of the most exciting events taking place this month in the entire year. And one of them is sort of tomorrow here. In America it's the 4th of November, which is their election day of all things. But here it's sort of just into our tomorrow. And it's the first of 5 oppositions that Saturn makes with Uranus. Now, I know I've not covered the rest of the planets yet, but let me tell you just briefly what this means and how important it is. Saturn, if you like, is John McCain. He's the conservative, keep it as it is, status quo, we don't want to change, we want to keep things as they are. And that's Saturn in Virgo, and interestingly, I think he's a Virgo. And then we've got Obama opposite Uranus, sitting in Uranus, which is the planet of change, the planet of new, the planet of transformation, the planet of inspiration, the planet of let's have a whole new world. It's ruled by Aquarius, it's ruled by including humanitarian. It's about including everybody. Not one should get and another shouldn't, but let's include everybody, let's have a new world. But what it's also doing, which is even more exciting tomorrow, is that it's squaring, this whole aspect of Saturn and Uranus is squaring Venus. Now, we've talked about Venus today. So Venus is all about a country's currency, its money, its finances. And it's squaring these very 2 powerful planets. So that indicates to me as an astrologer that things are going to get worse financially. Alright? In the next few days. This is all happening now. This is like all a configuration. It's like been building up to this. I mean, I'm sure you can see it around you. I don't think it's hit New Zealand yet, quite yet. But it is coming. And then the other huge thing that happens on November 26th is that Pluto goes into Capricorn. Huge. It's been sitting in Sagittarius for about the last 16 years. And Sagittarius... Are you done?
No one told me.
Yeah, that's why Sagittarians have had such a hell of a time.
Oh, we sit fresh.
And Pluto going into Capricorn is going to mean a change. It's like a world change. It's like nothing is going to be the same anymore. It's so huge. It's like we are living in times of massive change. You know, you've chosen to be alive at this time. It's incredibly exciting and it's incredibly frightening at the same time, because it means all the old structures that don't work have to come down. Now, how does this work in your lives? Because it works not only on a planetary level, on a global level with the world, but it also works in your lives. So what you need to be looking at in your lives now, when there's an opposition of Saturn to Uranus, it means, well, what's not working? What is past its sell-by date? Is there a relationship in my life that isn't working anymore? Is it a job? Is it my home area? What is it that maybe is just a little bit old? Because that's what Saturn asks you to do. When it opposes Uranus, Uranus is saying, hey, we've got to do something new, we've got to change, we want some inspiration, we want some excitement. I want to be living my destiny.
But it's that wisdom pattern as well, so I challenge that. It's that wisdom, it's not about holding back, there's also wisdom there. I think that's why it's put in there.
But it's opposing the Uranus.
Well, you can be young and wise at the same time.
Absolutely. But you still need to pay attention. Usually, when Saturn opposes Uranus, Uranus usually wins out. That's the thing about it. Saturn is wisdom, but it's also in Virgo right now.
But it's very much the old man, the young man takes over the old man, isn't it? Cut down that old wisdom and the young comes through. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that we're in for something new. These structures that we've got in governments, Capricorn, rules governments, are not working, are they? Let's face it. These governments don't know what to do next. They've put in billions of dollars, they're trying to prop up the system, they're trying to keep the status quo, which is Saturn. But Saturn also, through its wisdom, pulls down structures that don't work. That is its wisdom at work. That's actually what it does best. It says, hey, I want things to work with integrity. Saturn rules Capricorn. It needs honesty, it needs integrity. There's not been any honesty in the system. There's been dishonesty. CEOs getting $150 million. What's that about? It's greed. It's going over the top. That's what's been going on. So where in your life have you gone over the top? Where is it out of balance? Where will it have to be pulled in now? Because Pluto in Capricorn is going to be a time of constriction. It's going to be a time of making best use of resources, which Capricorn is great at. But it's a time for looking at what's working, what's not. And where might I have to pull in? Where might I have to prepare? Capricorn is the grand preparer. It's the grand person that can see the full structure, can see the entire structure ahead of them, but then it makes preparations. It's a little goat. Bit by bit, you've seen the goat, eats all kinds of things, doesn't it? Marvellous goats. I'd love to have one. Save me a fortune on Christchurch bin bags, it would.
Experience has been living out of control in a lot of respects. Gone above what they should have.
All over the top.
Yeah.
Greed. Thinking they could have a quick buck. That's exactly what happened in 1929. Let's make a quick buck. I've hit the jackpot. So they created all these financial instruments to make more and more and more money. Quickly. Has to collapse. It's an excess. It's an excess. And as soon as Pluto goes into Capricorn, let me tell you, you've got all these configurations coming up. They're so big, they're so huge, they're going to affect all of us in our personal lives in one way or another. But globally, there will be an effect. So I think that overall, it's good news. This had to happen. A recession had to happen. You know, it's good for the Capricorn people who've got Capricorn in them. It will feel better. It's grounded, it's real. What's been going on hasn't been real, evidently. It's just a question now of what happens on November the 15th when the G20 countries get together and they're going to discuss the future of our money supply, of our currencies. Are you aware? You know what's happening? November the 15th, this month. It's serious. It's really serious. They could revalue all the currencies of the world. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. They may put the dollar back onto the gold standard. We don't know. We don't know yet. It's all a little unknown, but I can tell you things are going to get unearthed that are going to be quite unpleasant, because Capricorn does unearth things that don't work. Pluto is about getting underneath, bringing out secrets, bringing out things that really are not very pleasant to bring out, but have to be brought out. But then I want to give you that this is the book I'm writing now. I'm writing a book about how to survive this financial meltdown. But for me, there's good news. But at the end of this, there's some great news, because we're going to have a much more community-based world, a world where we're more self-sufficient, a world where we make better use of our resources, where we're not wasting things. These are really exciting times. I see a world where we're reaching out to one another more, where we're giving help to one another, where we feel as though we are not just one for their own and this self-centeredness, but it's Uranus, it's Uranian energy, it's Aquarian energy, where we want to help one another, where we're more sustainable with food, where we're not importing food from thousands of miles, where we've got the most wonderful land and rivers and water and fish and everything under our fingernails, under our fingertips here. So it's about sustainability.
How long does it go on before the good stuff?
But
how long will all the bad rust stay?
Astrologically, the crucial time, and depending what happens around the world, to be honest, it's a good question, Liz,